Brendan Johnson back in studio with us. Sir, good to have you.
Good to see you, Bob.
Good news or bad news today?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
It's always a good day here as we're heading into Thanksgiving season. So
that is for sure. Let's talk about trending fraud in real estate. What is it that we should be aware of there?
Well,
Brendan?
like every facet in our life, right? We're seeing so many email phishing, scams. Whether it's mailings. There's the fraud is just so prevalent in every aspect of our life, and unfortunately, real estate is no different. So, what are some of the trends that we're seeing? First off, I just want to back up and say, at VoigtJohnson, we are very intentional. Everyone that has access to our client files, our transactional files, our licensed agents, we do not have. It's a kind of a growing trend in the industry. Unfortunately, in my opinion, to have outside third-party vendor transaction coordinator type people that have access to the brokerage systems, sometimes unbeknownst to the broker themselves, that are not licensed, that handle, that have free access to MLS data files, that sort of thing. We do not transcribe to that. We do not allow that. It is only licensed agents that have access to our files. So that's a big advantage right off the get-go.
Yep. You know what? I would just jump in here one quick second and say the more people that have access, the more opportunities there are for bad things to happen.
Absolutely. But a couple things outside of that is one of the main things that we're seeing is bad actors, scammers, becoming aware of the parties that are involved in a real estate transaction, whether that's the realtor, the buyers, the sellers, or the title company. And one of the main things, we talk about wire fraud, and the state has a disclosure form because unfortunately it's so prevalent, and the nature of the transactions are high dollar amounts, right? So people will become aware that a buyer, a seller, a realtor, and a title company are involved in a particular transaction.
Right.
They'll pose as one of the parties in the transaction. For instance, they'll create a fake Gmail email address that, from your standpoint, looks like it's me.
Oh, sure. The logo might be spot on.
But it's not me, and the email might go along the lines of, our wire instructions have changed for your proceeds. Please send the proceeds to this wire instructions, and it's not legitimate. And then you either, as the client, send those wire instructions to the title company, or the title company's duped, one or the other, and pretty soon your proceeds are to New York, then they're to a foreign country, they're gone, and that's what we try to avoid. So we never email any wire instructions, anything along those lines. And that's just something to be aware of.
Yeah, now our security people here at Leighton Media tell us just hover over like a logo or something, and it may be good, it may not be good.
Yeah, and so that, first of all, you want to look at the actual email address itself.
Right.
And they're very good, but I've seen Wells Fargo phishing emails that look spot on. It's amazing how good they are. But what can you do? That's the question we get. Like, me personally, you can always take hard checks. Like, I will take a hard check and go and deposit it at the bank rather than have my proceeds wired. Now, there's a convenience factor. You may need the funds right away to purchase a new property. I get it. So there's reasons to do wires. If you're wiring funds out, like your down payment money, when I've done that, I've actually gone to my bank, sat down with my banker, had the destination on the phone, reading the wire instructions back to them in person. I've actually gone one step farther and wired a minimal amount initially, confirmed that it was received, and then wire the larger amount second. So it's just being astute. It's good to be trusting, but when you're talking about emails, it's hard. You got to be a little bit of skeptic.
Absolutely, and I'm sorry, I wouldn't even call it being skeptical anymore. Just watching out. You got to be careful out there.
Yeah, and so another aspect or scam we're seeing is we get inquiries on a weekly basis of just bad actors. Right. Anytime I get inquiries through our website or email says contact me through WhatsApp or something like that, right away that's a red flag. We will get calls, emails, remote sellers, so to speak, that are posing saying we want to list this property. They're not the real owner.
Right.
They're posing as the owner. They So what I tell our agents is when you get those calls, and they prey on agents' vulnerabilities, because if you're an agent, you get a call, I want to list this property. You're excited, you want to move. You're not necessarily putting the eye, a little bit of skepticism on that to vet that call. So what I tell people is that's fine. It is legitimate that we have a remote seller out of state, out of country even.
Right.
That's not in itself illegitimate. But if you're not willing to hop on a 5-minute FaceTime call where I can make face contact,
sure,
that's a red flag. So that's something I recommend right away. If you get those, be a little bit suspicious, ask them to jump on a Zoom call where you can see them. If they reluctantly are not willing to do that, that should tell you right then and there.
Exactly right. What about title fraud?
That's part of it. Is again, you can get remote notaries that are illegitimate. That's one of the reasons why you buy title insurance.
Right.
That's one of the reasons why they need to be vetted through a local title company. But that's all something that we are skilled on and looking for these red flags and trying to, is it bulletproof? No. But you got to have your antennas up, so to speak.
What does this mean? Mailers after the closing paying for the deed.
So that's another aspect, and I wouldn't say that that's necessarily fraudulent. It's unnecessary.
Okay.
So what will happen after closing is if you buy a property, it's all public record. So the deed is recorded at the county. So anyone has record of all the new transactions for the month of November, let's just say. And so they'll mail out a very official looking document. It appears like it's a government document. It's not. It's a private company. And they're saying, they prey on fear. And they're saying for $150, you need a copy of your deed to protect that. All they're doing is they're selling you a public recorded document that you have access to at the county. You do not need to pay that. Is it illegal? No. Is it wrong? No. It's unnecessary. It's not transparent or legitimate. You do not need to purchase anything after the closing for any documents. Any documents are going to be available through the title company, copies that you get. You can get a copy of the recorded deed at closing. You do not need to pay for anything. The form looks completely official, right?
Sure.
It's got stamps, it's got government seals.
Yeah.
It's not necessary to purchase.
Again, it really illustrates why we need to do business with VoigtJohnson Real Estate. How do we do that?
Yeah, online at VoigtJohnson.com or 320-774-2400.
Brandon, as always, thank you.
Thank you, sir.